Okay. Good afternoon. We'll do the short opening prayers on page 5. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
One more time.
In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Page 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings. Simje namge sampadang goye jeta jetawar jechon tumo tekbaye choge korlo korduso.
Tamge doje jajere sodo shenje me do duje bonjombo serje lungbo do wala jewek yaji jalbe jawla gujan se teme wodra toje jingro do mode je mo je do tamje se bo guje je nyame ne gumle je gujan se umi je yang je podon do de long sang je guje mo Ransam Jogun was on the Zavela Majala, Kujan, Kanda Jojo, don't get Jana, the Hiloma Joa, so that in the Dombe Jujin, Joran, the Boston Brandova, Tamjin, the No more Yala, get on the Jiggy, Jun, Dami, Ginon, and do a good jet, the gate, on bottom Jiggy, the dog, Judan. Good afternoon. 자, 단기 아주 드리마 선데 telaudoda luso chagda to chagda to he tornene lama member da rap the tsar lama de zi hin den tong ji bis 티니티네 다 당기티 마르바 코랑 칼레자와다 휴차로와 티니다 라마 멤버다 위텐치비 순다 ngazo 제당 ki lu ki na san ro ina tene ji lu lung tri be kyan la so yo re ti ne ya tele do we ken na za de nga zo kar sena tene ji nyong mo ba do cha kya dang te mo la so bi te tho so ma tho nga ke na za tene yu we jum san de le tene tene da ji te la ji tho so m ti ko ke na za cha ya ki chi de la tene da la ma de la member da tene 다 나로바 땡요로와 따블라테네 rapto 제바레스 다 멤버 땡바레스 멤버 땡니 데네다 멤버 티게다 티샤죠 케티네 담가 베나다 두츠도우티 데네다 차장가 소지 통바레스 멘로마상다 참마 사바레스 송레
So we left off with the first verse in the commentary, which is, "You discarded your life and body like a pile of dust, and searched thoroughly for the doctor like Guru. I prostrate with respect to the Venerable One from Flodak, who drinks nectar like instructions." So we already went through, that risking life and limb or discarding his life and body like a pile of dust. Marpa traveled to India in search of a doctor-like guru. So doctor-like meaning that, just like if one is ill, physically ill, then one needs a skilled doctor to help one heal from the illness. But much worse than any sort of ordinary or physical illness is the illness that we are afflicted by, that we are all afflicted by, with the 3 poisons or 5 poisons of desire, anger, ignorance, jealousy, and pride. And so in order to heal from those illnesses of the 5 or 3 poisons, then we have to rely on a qualified spiritual teacher who is like a doctor. And so that is what Marpa was in search of when he traveled to India, was a skilled doctor to help him heal from the illness of the afflictive emotions. And so he went in search of this and then relied upon or drank in the medicine, which is the Dharma or the pith instructions. So it's the pith instructions, which are like nectar, or he drank the nectar-like instructions. So that is like into the medicine.
Even though physical, Medine Taya Yori Tina ko 100% ke Nata Tama de Medina Taya Yomari. Carcinati Caratagre Lavina, Tanga to Semplo Lucia, Guamjaya, Tegana Yiki Namto, Las of Nyung Tani, Nata Tagiori. Tindi Indu, Tanda Tambiki Chundi, Tanga to Kongoni, Chikari Karsekuta, Supreme.
And so the sublime Dharma, is the most potent medicine. So it's like, whereas other remedies or other medicine, it doesn't ensure that you would 100% recover from your illness. With the medicine of Dharma, then this completely uproots the afflictive emotion, the illness of afflictive emotion. So through, for instance, meditation, the body and mind become relaxed. The discursive thoughts or conceptual proliferation diminishes, it becoming less and less. And gradually, one is able to completely tame or subdue one's own mind. And so this is like the supreme medicine.
제가 나기다 가서 추치나 지금 라소베 야비나 되네 가서 티케 맨이다 맨티야 그 참말로 수고 참말로 팽겨레스다 되나 이게 지 가서다 노멀 메디센도 이나 지 가서다 다 가로와 드솔라 되네 티 가힐 팽겨레 가힐 노고레 가르데 satisfied 요로
Side effects.
Side effects.
On
the Dharma te yo mares.
Yeah. So meditation is the best medicine because it heals the mind, it also heals the body, and there are no side effects. So when we take other like normal medicine, like modern drugs, some things are benefited by the medicine and some things are made worse, or there are all sorts of side effects. But the Dharma isn't like that. It's beneficial through and through.
Okay. That hiukdri kunji wanju tuba dorjenchang doni ningje rangzo tunzi che kargo nyamji pandan heroga
So then the next 4 lines are praise. And so it says, Vajradhara, 6 powerful Lord of the 4 Kayas, who displays manifestations of emptiness and compassion. Glorious Heruka, who rejoices in the mood of the 9 dances. Hevajra, please grant us accomplishments here and now.
다 제도르제 이담 참마들라 돈이닝기 그랑조제 zone다 디인드 베나 동반니게 되네 동반니게 가르스나 직전디게 되네 차파당 현바당 아직 다든 진바 다 담지 도토바당
차파당 그래
현바 아주 딱 다든 짐바라와 짐바지 로와 당지 드니 도토야다 드가나기다 닌지에케 되네 샘찬히야라 또 제와 친구 되네 닌지에 그런서 보다 드니제케나 돈이 닌지 송도 주비케 랑조즈라 되네 이담 라부요레스 다케나 제도제데 돈이 닌지라고 지레스
So the Hevajra is, or the deity is the embodiment or self-manifestation of emptiness and great compassion. And so to practice the deity, it becomes the method to overcome or to reverse attachment and fixation or grasping, especially the mind of self-grasping. And so that is what the deity, the Yidam here, Hevajra, embodies or represents, is even though his manifestation is one that is fierce, the expression is that of great compassion.
당보 돌제틱비 람제 히마 파르제 돌제 총콜 칸첸게 종수 조로 쪼라 테네다 데게당가 저 간조로 다 냠만다 위나 티디요 서로 간조로 테다 카르세나 간조테 포나라 조르버리 테네 포강라 조르차베 휴라 다 단다 우드 블록 간조 par tanga so parsa scenari te heng wood block mambo soyo sarwa tiendita ti pena natang kanjor saya ndo ta tegana podala yo sare penzula tene ta maya utema soina delia kanjor 오늘 뒤도 그다 빠찬다 마소나 배제면나 간절 잠만다 되네 눈도 오지 되네 이게 잘라고도 빠차러 왔다
Partsasana. Yeah.
That would block
Yeah.
what
Kind of like
or just,
publishers. So, and
publication, so different publications.
so then there, the verse at the beginning of the text, following the opening verses, it says, the glorious Hevajra cycle is like the foundation of the Vajrayana path. Regarding the translations in the Derge canon, so here it is mentioning, the Derge canon, which is one of the most frequently referenced versions of the Kangyur. So the Kangyur being like the collections of the sutras and tantras. And so when these were translated into Tibetan, and then there were also, like some of the kind of older versions that were made with woodblock presses. So there was kind of like a style of publishing or printing that developed at a certain time in Tibet, where it was mostly like they were carved, the texts were carved into wood blocks, and then those wood blocks were, kind of like stamps. So then they printed many different. Oh, well, okay, maybe not quite like a stamp, because you wouldn't stamp it like that way, but you would put the paper over it and then roll I guess, over. And so there were, some different kind of, I guess you could say, publishers or publishing companies or styles. So, that he doesn't remember all of the different names, but there were maybe 7 main kind of publications of the Kangyur. And of these, one of them, and often kind of what is referred to as the most kind of reliable, maybe, is the Derge Kangyur, the Derge. And that came out of the Potala? Is that right? No. Oh no, the Potala. What? Derge is from Kham, obviously. That's a region.
Wood block so we got the original the master copy. So soya la yang some mistake you cigarette. Tegana yang that kashi this church yosarawa karsena that kanjor to zook long mambo yosarawa la make long to soon the rejigla laman the rejig pebgre sayano tene prophecy tene long mambo yodiang kashi ke long to so let the main to lama tene pebgre se lavina tene lamati main juliano that tene massive in samaris.
So these master copies that are in woodblock were especially important and are still especially important because it's possible that over time there's some mistakes, also that changes could happen. Like for instance, in a lot of the texts there are prophecies. So, for instance, prophecies like at such a time, this or that master will appear in this and that place. And so it's possible, that things like this could be altered or changed. So that's one reason why the master copies are so important.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this, I think, the most kind of authentic is the Derge Kangyur. So here, right?
The Derge Kangyur.
That the holiness mostly according to the Derge Kangyur.
So most of what His Holiness is referencing here in terms of the sutra or the tantric material from the Kangyur is from the Derge Kangyur.
Tene Derge Kangyur kanala je dorje zaju kenderwa somchi subji thang yang yap ko kola hipche jahi chargo yom ko kola jahi chabji yeju kola chö chakchen tegle la ni zabye domba jubi ki jonde 야당 야추 효바 세월레 에서 되네 말로키 총콜 다 ngadu스 어디다 당보디 되네 요레스라다.
So it says, regarding these translations in the Derge canon, there are 38 commentaries on the Hevajra root tantra, 89 texts related to the male aspect. And so this would be in the Tingyur. I think I was saying Kongyur, but actually the Rewa?
What?
Manube?
Kanjoro.
Oh, okay. So there are 38 commentaries on the Hevajra root tantra, 89 texts related to the male aspect, 18 to the female aspect, 10 to the explanatory tantra, the Vajra Pandara, 25 to the Mahamudra Tilaka. So all in all, 180 tantric commentaries on this cycle.
Tine maloke chungor ta ngadusu sa kaje tsute jiyu to majung rong sa tu.
I think I'm gonna have to put this here, sorry, because it's just, I need to, yeah. Is that okay? Are we done? Yeah, okay.
Ota tindu ngemanda wina tine chungor ta ngadu ke tutu terala tine ta jik ngazo kaja se ya jik chiji tine ta hyuje ke nyamna chi atini yosam wa.
Wait, Yamcha. Kumta. Yamcha.
Ota ngadu stina do pagila ngadu sus ngadu su malok chungor ta ngadu su kaji tsute jiyu to majorong sa.
So then it goes on to say, although no teaching cycles of Marpa's tradition could be found, including in the ancient collection, so in earlier, from earlier times, later 12 volumes of...
So that's
yeah.
it. So.
Okay.
Oda ti gabla kariore lavina, tine ta kaja slav gdoa hina ta pula ta tiyung gdoa da koji karchi guguna ji balance ji gugdoa ta samari labne yang permissive ki pecha ke chembo to sujigla matia ta tini mambo yosarawa nyamara wina ta pecha pe sang di ke ta pena ju ke durjin da wotu ta pe samari sa chembo re labne yang gomba jig na la ta ti pecha pe komborwa tini copy jig mato mewachi ti copy ti yang ta ko ji ya nya de mato be ke jig lama jig ma thya ndo jig da tini public lal tini ye wan na ndo tini mewa pe samari tini chi tini tini khyagu yo sa re tini khyabi jum sen tele tene ni hyuje ki ta tarchap chimbo mando ya cham pe za chimbo re la ne khya ya wa.
So this is, kind of points to like a bit of an issue in that, it's like, so it's sort of important to have a balance because, in older times, especially like that, which was considered to be secret material was extremely restricted. So no, sometimes it was not taught by anyone because it was so restricted. And this is how it was with, tantras such as these, like Hevajra, so even in the monasteries, it was very rare for there to be even maybe a copy because it was so restricted. It definitely wasn't something that was shared publicly, and it was considered to like be very precious and very secret.
Tine ta ti gala tu chi sta jela songre Drepong penzo kanto no marngo ke yikcha tinin pu juni tang se podala marbe kambo pu je je shobata pezo super tu hubata sa.
And so, although here it's saying, although no teaching cycles of Marpa's tradition could be found included in the ancient collections, later 12 volumes of old manuscripts of the Marngok manuals were found in the Drepung Library, as well as one of the volume of works by Marpa and the Potala.
So also the interesting thing too, I said this morning, so in all of the politicals, so I'm not sure, so which time, but anyway, so so the government, so sometimes the special teachings, like for instance, the Hevajra, really popular or really famous teachings, like for instance, this for example, like Dharma, right? So he's the special Lama, for instance, like Dharma, he's extremely scholar, extremely kind of realization. And then, so this Lama, Dharma is extremely popular. So that situation government sees, So sort of they said, oh, you no longer, you cannot teach. So he collect the tracts. So, like for example, this Digung, like Hevajra teachings, this and that. So this all the collected and put the, I think covered by like leather or something and
Sealed.
And nobody's allowed to, as long as remain in Tibet government, So then put in those something like basement.
In a basement.
So that's happened a lot. So I think here said library, but actually probably not library. Particularly the fifth Dalai Lama term. So, in this fifth Dalai Lama term is the Dharma Kirti, that the Trigung Dharma Kirti is most popular. So I heard even the Dharma Kirti he put the jail. So these are actually these political things, but so anyway.
But then it ended up being helpful.
So this lucky thing is helpful. So like for instance, Digung Ti, during the Cultural Revolution, completely destroyed. Even the monastery, no foundations, no matter they are taxed or burned. But the Podala and the Drepung, they destroy but not complete. And also they didn't look like basement, this higher, top, third floor, second floor, those floors, like fancy things, the statues destroyed too, maybe. But like basement thing, and maybe not much pay attention. So these, even though those basements and our basements different, so completely dark, no electricity, no window. So even though they don't know what the inside, so. But anyway, so those tracks, later on we found it. So otherwise we never find the tax. The lot of special taxes. So that's interesting thing is, so slowly the religious, under everything is Tibet under China, and then slowly religious free, and then they know the Tibet Lamas. So then they come back look
the basement. But there Chinese government restriction too. You cannot take, there's. So the luckily is the Noble Rinpoche, right? So many people know Noble Rinpoche. So he was in the Tibet, and also he has the religious department. He put sort of like a religious newspaper. He head of the religious, newspaper. So the kind of like I think the monthly kind of. So that time is religious free, so something like specials or teachings or something about like monastery. So that time is Noble was still connected. So they requested, I want to see these texts, I need to put the, whatever newspaper or so. Anyway, he kind of what is the exists, not exists, what is the Deva your workers and the Pagilam Rochoya Akatini?
Like a pass?
Yeah, so.
Permission?
Yeah, not permission, but. Exists.
Opportunity. He was allowed to, he had access, that's what you're trying to say.
Yes,
he was given access, yeah, to look.
Right, so then that time is also leaders, so connect here, I need that, but he can take the one volume, make copy, regional back, and like back forth. So those tags, and then that's from sending to Tibet to India, it's not that easy, But really one, actually, I think Dubalodu. So this time he live in the Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island.
So Holiness visit to him, so he's very old. But that time he has like money, and he has the cardboard factory in the Nepal. He can go, looks like his business, he's selling the cardboard to Tibet. Okay, so bring some money back forth. So that time is actually the business okay, like cardboard selling things, but the Chinese restriction is like paper thing, the books, or because of political, so cannot send like sculptures or like paper. But anyway, he can bring to Holiness. So anyway, so now he basically he's saying is he find like almost whole thing. So he is saying so. So what they said in Depong, Penzo Counter, Mongo Kiyaka, Put Unit on Zepodale, Marbeca Mopu Jekyobe, Pezuk to Patu Chumata, Neving to Petek, Stapetex Puk, Penzo. Petse Ying Himjong Kane, what look you to JB, Pu Som Pu Song be Sota, what look you ne, look you to JB, Song Bomb, I don't know, bomb. But tap, kasi yorsene bezuk tap so surga.
Tilla yo mare te young take chenam kakar. There's a kakare. Yeah, this one's a little bit different. I think changes have been made since yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hupatu chungwa dance, that tanda di logdun tuidam nata, that the pekia sum surga yores.
So sumchu songa partung gyao sar.
Tega na yitene da logdu na to chungwa den tacha mango ki yikcha japcha jacha gupchu konga yen laksong sosta nyama mango ki pecha da chamata pede 95% da ngazu ra yores.
Ti ngumage pecha ne. Okay. Okay, so so of these, the 12 volumes of these old manuscripts from the Marngok manuals were found in the Drepung Library, as well as one volume of works by Marpa in the Potala. And these were of the... Yeah, here it says these were published in now 190 Ribe Jadangupju.
No, that's we already said.
Yeah, manuals of the Marngok tradition are available. So, and there are Diniti Kari, Sumchu Songa Kari,
Okay, just keep going reading what they're saying.
Dichibore.
They don't have now?
That's it. And then Diniti, in this situation, which is a feast for both researchers and practitioners, Dini Kongi Tsere.
Okay. What are, so this, yeah.
But there, it sounds like there are they've been made of these. There have been 35 books that have now been created and published.
Yes.
And so 90
Right now.
Now and 90
Marngok yicha jacha gupchu konga zam laksong chung yoris.
Lagare.
So this actually, this holiness get right now, so the 95 percentage he got, you know, or tax. So maybe not much losing.
Of the original Marpa
That's
works.
Okay,
Yeah, Nika Chikin does.
Then Kiwan Namje, Yamnan Namje Gatong Chi Himbe, near come there, Chinak America, Yamnan Gonko make the Eje do Jerem Jeti Te Chalatan Jeba, Toby Gatong Hichawa, He, and Dini Zambalas.
Then His Holiness says, I took into consideration the practice needs of various types of individuals, Westerns and Asians, and composed this celebration of practice, a practice manual of the Hevajra generation stage practice according to Marpa's tradition.
Teganagi Kitine, Tapar Sacha Beke, Sartian Lose Jansu, Jedurjiki, Jerem Namhi Lihini me Wazel Le. Yes, Tene Puji Lamanam Taki Jesu Jesu Jean Jibala Ngada Marbane Oryungne Jubi Malam Yonsu Zobatan Trolam Tiene Yela Tok Tada Japtan Kitzawa Zorem Sempu Menga Yejuji number Jede Lam Jungzi Tsangyu Te Dene Jitsu Naro tabi Jason Rama Yinla Hen Rabatan Jarba Tumton Lodu Chakpa Ramding Ba Namji Yagark Yesola Tene Yinjang Lam Yons Zoba Mitos.
And so then it says, in the Sun Rays of Good Explanation by Sakyapa Sarchin Losa Gyatso, a commentary on the Hevajra generation process, it says, if we examine which Tibetan lamas are followers of the Hevajra tantric cycle, the path of ripening, the initiation, passed through Master Marpa and Ngo Shungpa is complete. The path of liberation, the generation process in 6 limbs, and the perfection stage's key instructions on merging and transference, with as their backbone the explanations on the root and explanatory tantras, is also somewhat complete. This is following the tradition of Venerable Naropa. Other traditions, such as those of Rawapa, Chelse Sonam Gyaltsen, Tumtun Lodro Drakpa, and Ramdingpa, although they rely on Indian exegetical
That sort of explain it from India.
explanation traditions are not a complete path. So those are not complete, the other traditions that come from India.
There, che durje tsaju la tsanzi chi ne, that the Marpa lo sungro. Pe ngada Marpa lo che, che durje chi cho dojar je drumji ke to, ngu yung la rinchen pe zang ke jiba durje, ngu to da dekbar, de du chi balas, that is zawano, that is singuyo sarwa.
So kapar pardu logi?
Tene che durje stingo pot.
The dorje gur ne che lo yimbe.
No, no,
Gurure.
not yet.
Che dorje sajule. Saju de lo yimbe.
Tingo pot.
Here, I take into account the Hevajra root tantra and offer a commentary by taking as a frame of reference the Hevajra mandala ritual with scriptural quotations by the glorious master Marpa Lotsawa. Marpa in that text quotes the Vajra Panjara, which says,
Tutu tang chundram tang naksen babchu tongcher tu nyingje chenpo je dorje ngaye nyenkor la ngudok dere he tang sa.
So it says, in charnel grounds and on river banks, in forests or in river cities, O compassionate Hevajra, I pay homage to you. Please give me the accomplishments.
Dati jetang dati ko tanda druptang de sungyo sara tutu sada jetang nga zo da tsam libi nga kabla tene da gomba se ne embarwa tendi tendi la tene da nga zo tsam de yore tedi du tiga na ji da ji depends in sarwa karsena nga zo ko individually ta same ta jigyati same temba thobina tene jig ngatso ordinarily jig sajatalatis hena yo bandawo segro ta jig bena tutula soba tiga na yita ngatso sala ya ta ngatso western ala tene hida yosamarina sala jig ko energy don damanda yosarwa sa tene jig chusumdo yosanda woda tene jig nakse tubo yosanda woda ta tene do tene la tene ta gomja re la gusare.
So this is like the instruction is to do these practices, in kind of a retreat setting. So the places that are proper retreat settings are these kind of places that are solitary, isolated places, maybe also somewhat frightening, such as like charnel grounds or cemeteries. And it kind of depends on, individually also, the stability of the mind. But it is said that, to really gain stability, it is helpful to do practice in these areas that are kind of ordinarily maybe somewhat scary or especially kind of powerful places. So he said maybe in the West we don't have the same kind of ideas about, different places like on the land holding different like energy or different kind of power spots, in the earth or in the stones or in the water. And so there are these different kind of energetic fields in these different natural places. And so, some of these like particularly powerful and maybe even hostile areas are said to be like particularly beneficial for practicing in retreat and gaining stability.
Hina yata nga so no job bala nam to yo mari se nam to the pedo sa ja ka hindi no love do campaign on and no jing do love do.
But actually, that's not true. He said sometimes you think like in the West we're not very superstitious, but actually we are really superstitious, and we do say things like, oh, that place is inhabited by demons, or there's a really strong negative energy in this or that place. Rebe?
Revis, I think.
No, nga la tong dig do it. Okay. So do we do that? Do we say that? He said. What's that? Vortex, yeah, right. Yeah.
That's really strange too, yeah.
But maybe it's not, there's maybe less of a kind of widespread, everybody definitely believes this kind of thing, I would say. Yeah, maybe that's a little different, right?
Yeah.
Cemeteries, we're scared of cemeteries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's true. Really, there is energy too, cemetery. Still, this here cemetery is like a bit more clean and nice than, in the Tibet. So Tibet, this can just really chopped up, Everywhere is bones and
Body parts strewn about.
Yeah, this really is kind of really scary. This during the cultural revolution, So that time is the government is legal, this sky barrier. So
Sky barrier.
so
Sky
try
barrier.
to actually this. It should be this. I don't know. They set up something buried, or I'm not sure whatever. But they're not really rules. But they said you cannot sky barrier. But the people died. They go very early, morning. There they can eat, but you cannot stay.
The
all
vultures
day.
eat the
They
body.
clean up, they chop the bones and.
What?
Yeah, right now do, but during the cultural revolution, that time is very scary. Actually, then people put there and just early morning you live there. So no civic. Now they have civic person take care, chopped up, and this cutting, and they give the blood, and then the bone really kind of mashed, and they mix the body flour and give to the vulture. Actually, basically, it's nothing left. And then this kind of mop in the floor, not remaining. But during cultural revolution, they're not allowed to that. So also they don't have the specific person. Just own family, bring there, the vulture eat. And I remember I was really scary actually. One time, so this, I think this kind of, we can pick up kind of rhubarb, the vegetable.
Rhubarb?
Yeah.
Rhubarb.
Similar, but this kind of more sweet, very long. So that's area they have. So I and my friend, I think 2-3 yaks, and I have one. My friend has dog, and then we just pick up. Then one time, so actually the cemetery, where scrub area is, we walk down below there. So, and the dogs just playing, these kind of things. And we look there, like 3 heads. Just dog happy, just push eat. So that's kind of like a bit scary, but. Hina that day you said, because I'm going to the same kick down that chili or to say, I think ordinarily what the Lechana your jig your end or some grower. That Tindindo with Jigla, not so bomb with job. A Tinito Chivina, Tinita 다 over 로 check was atini ko ti kan la gom ja nyen chi na tin di hena te me wa cha no go wa o ta tin ji ni ko sem ge jang da ri lo wa.
But it's a great training for the mind because working with fear like this, as you meditate in a scary place, like at first it's very, very scary, but you get used to it. And then as you meditate, you're able to really overcome or conquer your fear by sort of, inviting those kind of challenging situations that are where you would become fearful.
So tene ngodop there sta ina yang ta tindi ke ta nele khala gor se na ingje che dorje ye nga ye nyang kor ngodo da ta tindi ke yang I think one reason ji ta sa cha ko dang symmetry to energy no be koran be externally ta dimension re karina kunnipa chembo yosaro wa tindi ke yu thela tene toni inje kranzo ke dorje komne nyamne chingbe kawla tene konso phagi ke ko da de na tzolia thuji tzoke chi telen da ngodo te go sarawa ngai nyenkor la ngodo ter zumbo nyenkor wa tan ngodo ter des
So another reason, though, is because these places that also have like a lot of energy, that are kind of, wrathful kind of power places, that have a lot of strong energy, that it intensifies the practice so that, Hevajra, who is the embodiment of compassion, that when one meditates on Hevajra, or practices the generation stage, that kind of the power of that manifestation is felt more intensely. It's easier to maybe stabilize in, and then also the enlightened activities or the cities become more accessible. So as it says, O compassionate Hevajra, I pay homage to you, please grant me the accomplishments. But it sounds like this version, is that the same?
tene ngo shedang durje rinchen jenda les tene cherwen harbe thusu nyams lembalas.
So then it says, so Ngo Shedang Dorje says, and like a jewel ornament, at daybreak he rises and engages in the following practices.
So ti indi ta ti pemisi wi ketini ta thorang ke tela te pe kechim ri sungdo so that's I think the morning is very important. So he's saying here so because I think one reason is the particular, this practice of our, the kind of like Jedorje or highest yoga, or particular, or six of yoga naroba. So this most lot of connected to the inner or individual, right? Inner, these 5 elements, and the outer, external, these 5 elements. So the cycle, the 24 hours, so we have day, night, and so this the energy is different. So kind of everything, morning, so kind of wake up, right? So the 5 elements,
Fresh.
connected, fresh, and inner, 5 elements, and outside, and so that is more. If that during that time is special, whatever practice, so practice time, and also I was in the Digung tea. I think mostly I think very, very famous Drupon, Pachung Rinpoche. So really, the higher yogi. So after the cultural revelation, actually he is before the cultural revelation, he's Drupon. But then after the cultural revelation, he's very famous. So I was there one time, see him. So I asked request to please give me some pit instructions. So he said, yeah, okay, you really want, then you come, tomorrow morning. Like what is the sun? Or
It's sunrise. It's sun.
not really sun, but what is the
What do we say? Sunbreak?
dawn?
At the crack of dawn.
Yeah. So this more blessing,
Daybreak,
more
yeah.
energy. And also he said, this the Lord Jikensum Gong promise, come to every morning to who has devotion.
So Jigten
So the Lord
Sumgan
Jigten Sumgong.
promised that whoever has devotion to him, he would appear to them at that hour of the day, early in the morning. Actually, probably before sunrise even. Rebe.
Right, and also we have that Snigma tradition, so this Ngurumbuche, same thing Ngurumbuche says, so every time they remember, sunrise and the Bema Sambokam. So they are kind of like energy connection, so this is important. So that's here saying is the tea or what, Jarin Hervi Tusu, Nyamsu Lamb
Yeah, Laksarian. So that's why it says here, at daybreak, he rises, the practitioner rises and engages in the following practice.
Tene Luigi Hembando Bechito, General Gumbatan, Naki Hembando Bechito, Debatan, Semji Hembando Beke, Chito, Tene Zoram, Bomhi songs.
So meditating on the generation stage to eliminate attachment to the bodies, repeating mantras to eliminate attachment to speech, and meditating on the perfection stage or completion stage to eliminate attachments to the mind.
Tangatu Yedamke, Taki Chembo Shure, Tenida Yedamde, Zangabdurji Tekpade, Teneta Chembo Yinzuyatine, Jigle Tamboba Maimba, Tekpa member Maimba. Tindiketine, Chik Lu Teyan, Tangatu Jili Jerem Yungra, Ina Jerem Gana Yungre, Inaya, Ko Lu Korayan, Tine, Chigato Tamebeke, Lu in the Mayimba, Pena Yedam Platan, Tine, Yermewa, Rawa, what Tindiketine, some Gugures.
And so when we practice the Yidam deity, in the context of secret mantra Vajrayana, this is a very profound process. It's a process through which, we kind of overcome or reverse the ordinary fixation or perception of ordinariness. So we are not conceiving ourselves as like regular ordinary beings. And our body is not an ordinary body. We're really identifying with the enlightened manifestation or embodiment of the Yidam deity. So it isn't, we're not just like beginners or ordinary people.
Hembandoya, Tamebe, Mone, Jigda Lujigone, Sahavi, Megetotini, and Chandrovioles. Tagana Yia, Nada Wimbina, Nadi, Jeta, Nakagone, Megeva Sagior. Inaya, Nakatine, Nadane, Tinejik, Naki Hembasenary, and Naki the Quatini, Tandrovioles.
So by meditating on our form as the perfected form of the deity and becoming sort of stable in that meditation, then we can really overcome the kind of ordinary perception or the fixation to ourselves as ordinary. And through this, the obscurations or negativities accumulated through the door of the body become purified. And the same with speech. As we recite the mantra, then we are both purifying the negativities, non-virtues accumulating through the door of speech, and we're also kind of reversing the kind of ordinary perception or grasping to speech as ordinary.
대만인비게 제네세이나리 돌마세이나 다 좋은 것도 제도 성돈 줘봐 성도다 개치 뭐 쉬우래 되네 아직 제렘 그 고함네 그런 그루다 제렘세야 돼 간들이 라비나 다 초지디도 지베른 말이 초지디도 양 고직 다 남도 큰거 남도 세네 샘게 되네 지 공구이 얼와 되니 산다던데 더버리 세네 샘게 지베 샘게 되나 공구이 얼와 디 제렘도 공병비 까라 디게 딱 할 수 없고 샘스야 돼 찍마도 요 말이 양면은 넘버 또 봐서 찍마도 요 말이 와 대니 당가서 이담 가라고 이담 플랜들이 다 소탄들이 건도들이 이제 공배 qabla 다고 디 qabla 지 ordinary concept 좀 까놓고 여러 와 가게 요리 디니 다 샘기 이담 라지고 디게 나네 그냥 그 샘게 당만라고 지다 또반라고 지용 거와 디니 다 예담플라데 공부요래 다 예담플라 공 디니 예담플라 공자위 휴라 디니 가서 nga 알라소바당 나탱 라소바지 nga 당거와 당래 야다 디니 텔라 가선다 기타 고지 초지디 남도다 제바라와 다 딘디 제나 남도다 제바 임바텔라 다 가선 센지라 그러와 센지 센지게 다 조금 남는 되고래
센지 조름
센지 조그람 로와 세마다 집에 조그람 베라 나루 초로라서 반 센지 그 조그람 로와 telanggaso ta gomgoy ware to mola so bal te manam la so ba gomgoy ware ba ta senje ki zogram sema ta ki ba wa on sema ta ki be go ne tene la tene ji gomgoy ware ta te gom sa we hyula ti je la tene ta zogram semi zogram la tene ji ta na yedam khala to chama le ya ma de ne tene thama de ta ko la ti ke ta ji nga ke na ne tene saung te ya tene ta nga so hong na da la so ba yo ro 오 티니치는다 드램 드램 자자 전부가 달라다 조나 오다 티니 다 냠래 지야다 닌자한테 가두이나 냠도 로고 그랬어
데조름 당체랍니까 So it's like the same actually when we practice any deity. So whether, for instance, say, like with the practices of, Chenrezig or Tara, but in general it is said that really the generation stage should be practiced as an indivisibility of generation and the generation and completion stages, or they should be practiced together. Like on the one hand, so when we're meditating on the generation stage, and our mind, what we're doing is we're essentially practicing, with an object on which to put our awareness. So we're using concepts as a way, the concept of the deity, visualizing the deity, to have that be what is inhabiting our mind or what our mind is occupied with, because we just have one mind. We can really actually only have like one kind of concept in the mind at a time. So when that becomes the prevailing thought or the prevailing concept and the mind is on that, then it doesn't allow like the ordinary flow of proliferating thoughts to enter. It doesn't allow other thoughts to enter. So we're focusing on, this aspect of the deity and then maybe that aspect of the deity, and we're really like focusing on the form and the ornaments and the attributes. And so what that does is it blocks other concepts, other thoughts from entering. And then when we stay for a time with that, then the mind becomes very clear and bright, and kind of free of discursive proliferation. And so as we are visualizing in this way, we're also reciting the mantra with our speech. And that recitation of mantra also helps to cut through the flow of discursive thought. And so then we can, continue maybe to practice, for instance, applying the completion stage methods or completion stage with characteristics, practices involving tumo and so forth, or the practices of the 6 yogas. And then with ultimately then when we dissolve the form of the deity, we would dissolve the visualization, and we end up just with the seed syllable. The seed syllable gradually dissolves, like the hung into the head and into the crescent moon and into the tigle and into the nada, and then we completely dissolve the visualization and just rest in Mahamudra, which becomes the completion stage without characteristics. And so in any case, whenever we are practicing the generation stage or the completion stage, we really need to have both. Rebe. Yeah.
Yeah, of course,
So we need to have the completion stage and the generation stage and completion stage together. And so whereas the completion stage is to overcome fixation to like ordinary form, then that's the generation stage is that, and then the completion stage is to overcome fixation to the generation stage.
zanizong sambodane jinko nga zongde chongdom jinko gupchu kosom mo sa.
So there are different versions of chakras or Hevajra mandalas. So here it says there are in general 6 mandalas taught in the Hevajra Tantra. There are 82 in the Vajrapanjara and 5 in the Samputa. So all in all, there are 93 different mandalas.
There heji cha tuchudu zower tongbi junsene stachi tanga su jedorje la jedorje ta heji chani la soba dang tene jedorje ta mambo yusarwa mandawa. Ina yatan dela zowo te karsen ta jedorje te ndeni zowo tongyo res. Kandiri senan there heji cha chudu zower tongbi junsene reason. Yom dorje dami mandu nduji ki ngor dewa chenpo kuye tongba heruka heji cha chudu den tenamje nane chodo churbi tongba heji cha chudu bate tenang khane yi nyamna ta ju takpa isa takpa chime ki ju leba nga batang khor ki leba hebe sam jurwa ne sewar tong sa. Before the Tsaji.
The reason why it is Hevajra with 8 faces and 16 that is taught as the main deity here is explained in the Hevajra Tantra. So there are the different versions of Hevajra, so there's the, for instance, 1 face and 2 arms and so forth. But here it's referring to the main Hevajra, or which in this case is the 8 faces and 16 arms. So it is that possessing the huh? The lo yimba kapar bardu lo yin.
다저 되냐 디스타고 살아와티 로드마 다디 제도지 태양 자주레스 티파타
So in the Hevajra Tantra it says, possessing the yoga of selflessness and persevering to become Sri Heruka, the one desiring cities must not entertain any other thought for even a moment. Gang lo yin ngarang sangma la de chikchina kaka yina hakoma sang.
다 reason 여러 제도지 해티 자주도 고야 좀 선택하래 있습니다.
So this means that if someone who is endowed with the qualities of the 2 types of selflessness and who follows what is taught through the pith instructions, perseveres in the yoga of the 2 in union, the Yogini Nairatmya and the Hevajra with 8 faces and 16 arms, displaying fully the qualities of the Dharmakaya, then one will, in this life, accomplish the supreme city.
So that tenyang zaju ne sta tenmo chiro ta de zaju te. Tenyang zaju le dami nenjor demba nam yana heru ka pe zong. Hembe semje gi je jang ngodom do wa menesos.
So then he just read that what I already read, which is from the Hevajra Tantra, possessing the yoga of selflessness and persevering to become Sri Heruka, the one desiring cities must not entertain any other thought for even a moment.
Right. Tene hezong bi tong ne sa. Dami ninji yonten den hin. Ju sungba bo tongba tang hejo to hyobe. Jitsu dami ma tang. 추구 연태 용서 줘봐 총배 헤르가 해지 차주도 ninje게 nenjor마 총반에 센데니 쪽 오좀 줘블라 텔레 햄베 탑 사쿠 차자 사쿠 차주니라 소바타 헤지를 앞지사 꾸르꾸레마 소바 남지 마인데스 드베 민중와
So again, just repeating what was already read. This means that if someone who is endowed with the qualities of the 2 types of selflessness and who follows what is taught through the pith instructions and perseveres in the yoga of the 2 in union, the Yogini Nairatmya and the Heruka with 8 faces and 16 arms, displaying fully the qualities of the Dharmakaya, then one will, in this life, accomplish the supreme city. This is not the case of other means or deity appearances different from this one. Say, for instance, for the 12-armed one, or others, or the wisdom deities such as Kurukule, etc., such fruit does not arise and such glory is not applicable.
Wanas, dan drivi minjungbi ki junsene, sta la hembazulun drivi minjungu mare la guya sarwa. Jia dorje tikpa nam drivi lam tu chi jings, ta zanga atan drivi lam chingades. Tela jundawe kin drivi ndawa do gubala, deye ke logni longku hecha chudukla dobi cheros.
So the reason why such fruit does not arise, so this is referring to, maybe other practices are said to not, have such swift or full results or outcomes, is that in general practitioners of the Vajrayana take the fruit as the path and must, with what resembles the cause, practice what resembles the fruit. This is why the Sambhogakaya and this tradition for those desiring cities is the form with 8 faces and 16 arms.
Peji womayi panes. Yenenimi ihedes. Hezon da yanga dem jona yenenimi ihede hene juso tombani songiro wadate. Sungbatar 추그 돈이 닝지 열미비 이해인라스 다 돈다던데 그 자치 뭐 가르스 랍거람나 되네다 직고 좀 그다 디나네 추그 돈이 닝지 열미바 닝지랑서 이해인라스
So then it says, glory is not applicable, refers to Shri is non-dual wisdom. So this is referring to a famous quote where it talks about each of the syllables of Shri Heruka. So Shri is non-dual wisdom. As is explained here, the Dharmakaya is the wisdom where emptiness and compassion are inseparable. Dinidi yang dinda chudu.
해송과 다르스 추그 돈이 닝게 열미비 이해인바 체레 드다 돈이 주로 차 주로 당 돈바니 체바 넘버 타바 지당 해지 닝게 체바 진지 드윙고 해 샵시 두비 데다부 게 제두 헤르가 코나 콘데지 베톤주와 인소스
So it is, and it shows it is that such 16, the 16-fold emptiness that it's for this reason that Hevajra has 16 arms. So the 16 arms represent the 16 types of emptiness or aspects of emptiness. The attributes of this realization of emptiness are the 8 forms of liberation represented by the 8 faces. The attributes of compassion are the 4 means to attract disciples, or the 4 means of attracting students or disciples, which is represented by his 4 legs or his 4 feet. Thus, this Heruka of the time of the fruit is the glory of both samsara and nirvana.
Okay. 다 디쇼라다 디가서 돈이 주도 되네 남바 타르바지 되네 도웨고 포셰 다 제리 쇼기니 승가서 다던데 브레이크 직진이서
So then afterwards he'll talk a little bit about these 16 types of or aspects of emptiness, the 4 the 8 forms of liberation, and the 4 means of attracting disciples. After the break, so we'll take a break and then reconvene in Gatse. Karma.
30 minutes.
In 30 minutes, we can come back.
Their tomorrow examination.
After lunch is always a little bit difficult, right?
After lunch is difficult.
Yeah.
This is not the Hevajra.
It is
It is Hevajra, yes.
But I think it's
It doesn't have 4 legs, but
The singer.
oh, Southeast Asian.
Hey, John, make your daughter smile, will you? We got okay. It's over. Don't worry. Take some pictures of this during the break.
Yeah, you can No. Like I can't manage to look at them both for some reason. It's
Yeah, that's really difficult.
Yeah, it gets complicated.
Then
'Cause
this-
I'm looking at the English and I'm looking at that and I just
That's
get
no way, this
confused.
is
So
Marpa.
just
Do
keep
you want me
it.
to? No. Do you want me to put it? I'll make a PDF so you can have it there.
Right there, that might be easier actually, yeah.
Confusing. This is Halilo Yomarwa. Nick lab gray, Parjola, your Tinsomchina, Yomarwa.
Yeah, it is. It's hard for me to focus.
Maybe it's tricky, especially if you're using somebody else's translation. If it's your own, then you're.
Yeah, you know it through and through. So, but it's not that different. It's just like a couple of little things missing here and there.
So now we tea break. 30 minutes.
Offerings arise with skyberry.
What's that?
Did tormas begin with the skyberry? Torma practiced before skyberry. You said that you would take, some of the stuff, mix it with some, and throw it out. It's kind of like a torma, right? For the dead person.
Oh, no. Okay, that means I say in this, the Tibet they do is,
That's just for the moment.
no. So there are many things involved, but Zamba I talking about is all the flesh they eat, right? Vultures.
So this for the blood?
No, blood is not, but then the bone.
Oh, the bones. Oh, okay.
So bone is mostly the bone has the kind of greasy or like oil, right?
Yes.
And put the zamba, right? So together, and the vulture can eat.
Oh, okay.
So the chunk of bone, so this
It's probably better than the bone will never get eaten then.
no, the vulture cannot eat. This one is the we call it another chunk the vulture they can eat, but
That's the big one.
yeah.
Okay.
Benzara Sado Samaya Manu Balaya Benzara Sado Dinamba Didan Me Bawa Sudo Gayo Me Bawa Subo Gayo Me Bawa Nurado Me Bawa Sarva Sede Me Bayanza Sarva Karma Suza Me Teden Shayam Guru Aho Bangawan Sarva Dada Gada Banzara Mame Manza Bendera Baba Ma Samaya Sado. So I said before, what is the 7 different the kanjos? So
7 publications of the
so that's
Kanjur.
right, 7,
So
but I
he
don't know
wanted
the
to say
names.
what they are, which is so there's the Derge, Lhasa, Chone. Hang on a second. Oh, did I? Yeah. Oh. Nartang, Peking, Urga, and Tok Palace. Tok Palace, yes.
Let me tell again.
Derge, Lhasa, Nartang, Chone, Peking, Urga, and Tok Palace.
So basically, it's the different places. So, right. And now I think we look a bit Theravada Tangi di Karsan Cha Judo di Tony Judo Songre Sondwa. That only Judo to this the confusion Yori in Ayata di Jigmar Labdins.
So then we left off talking, there was mention of the 16 arms of Hevajra representing the 16 kinds of emptiness. So he thought, it gets a little bit complicated, but that he might talk a little bit about these 16 kinds of emptiness.
Sta tambo kato manro hyana nang tomba ni che tomba ni ninga tomba ni chenbo tomba ni thong thambe tomba ni duji je tomba ni duma chi be tomba ni thalende be tomba ni thoma dang tamma me be tomba ni ndorwa me be tomba ni rang yi je tomba ni cho tham je tomba ni rang gen se ni tomba ni meme ba tomba ni ngofo me be tomba ni ngofo me be ngo
So they are just the order is different here. What I have than what he has, but the empty, like outer, or first he said inner emptiness, outer emptiness, emptiness of the outer and inner. Great emptiness, emptiness of the beginningless and endless, emptiness of the conditioned, emptiness of the unconditioned, emptiness of emptiness, emptiness beyond extremes, natural emptiness, emptiness of the unobserved, ultimate emptiness, emptiness of the indispensable, emptiness of the essential nature of non-entities, emptiness of all phenomena, emptiness of specific characteristics.
That's my Hillary, the emptiness, huge. Tajatan Chendong Bani, Nan Dong Bani, Dona, this Lila Urawa. Tene Yamanda Kashi Lam Desare. Tachetong Bani Sena, Kiku, Tene Nan Dong Bani, Nan Domba, Techetan.
So nang sinagari nang simpitsen?
Yeah. Tene tombanis.
So first of all, the outer Outer emptiness is, the inherent emptiness of outer objects. Inner emptiness is emptiness of the inwardly apprehending mind. And then there's like the emptiness of emptiness itself.
이네다 디 interesting 도와 카센다 초지디리 60 동반이 도와다 이나다 리히데 믹스스 야고에서 말이정도 이나양다 초지디리 가서 60 emptiness 들라
So like on the one hand, it's interesting because it's like, wow, 16 different kinds of emptiness, a lot. But actually, 16 types of emptiness is not enough.
Right? I think you need more emptiness or maybe just only one emptiness, phenomena or emptiness. That's enough or something, So also this what is
so like the emptiness of a compounded phenomena or the emptiness of the composite.
Yeah, within the Duje Tombani Nalatine, Mambo Zegoya Sarawa, Penata, Yomombano Chinetine, Nadia Tombani, Chado Tombani, Tene, Karsegota, the Semte Tombani, Tene, and that Karsas subclinging Tombani, Takojik Tombani, Mambo Goyo Sarawa. And that is Yomarawa.
So I'm just curious, do all these emptinesses still have intrinsic characteristics that make them different from void, like cognizance, this cognizance, luminosity or something, clarity or something, all those emptinesses, are they all part of the mind?
Dini di pena thongpa rang mayemba nune thongpa dang selcha yojo sawa yojo dang yamdu de sawa cha dang yamdu yemba la yorebe. I didn't say what he said though yet. Can I? What chirang dambo la ba chi la yorwa.
That's okay. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it.
Okay, so before
Have
we
a good
get
one.
into this, let me just say what he said before, which was, so within the emptiness of the conditioned, so this actually includes like all of the mental phenomena and like the afflictive emotions. So like emptiness of pride, emptiness of jealousy, emptiness of anxiety, and all of the different, afflictions that arise in the mind. Okay, so then.
Tinije Tsongo Yosarawa, Benachi, Chi Yukin Zimba, Mewa Chiki Yutsama Tomba Yuroa, Tomba Tela, Tomba Res, Tinditela, Karsegota, Korangi Top Deva Mewa, Tinije Kogu Yosarawa. Yina Yantanga to Tsor Tsaman Dor Dune, Tene Semjek Ngo, Roa, Semi Tombani, Karangi, Tigana Nena, Tinditine, Semi Tigana, Tig Chaja Chembo, Chaja Chembo. Cho Hianxi Didu, that don't need a in a tateco, nothingness, the empty kind of Tindi Maimba, by the Semjek Rangiroa, Seton Sungdoa, then Semjek Rangitala, Tomba Imba Kanshila, Tiketine, Civic Cha, the Seva Yua, or that Sunju Didoa. In that and the phenomena Tombanita, Tombani, the Korangi Maroa. So Takina, Trop de Mevada, Mevachan Rogroa, or that Tendo.
So yeah, to address John's question, these 16 emptinesses are sort of really driving home or really pointing out what kind of needs to be understood in terms of, what's the opposite of what we generally perceive, which is that, we generally perceive things to have true existence from their own side. So what it is it's, breaking things down so that we see that that all of these different aspects that we kind of attribute existence to things, that actually there is no, substantial nature there, that they don't actually truly exist. And so it is to say, conditioned things lack inherent existence, but normally we don't apprehend things that way. We grasp it, like, for instance, outer phenomena, we take it to be real, we think that it really exists. And so all of these different aspects of emptiness, when you subsume them into one essence, one essential nature of emptiness, that essential nature of emptiness is the emptiness of mind's essence, the true nature of mind, or Mahamudra, which is definitely not a total absence or nothingness, but it is the indivisibility of clarity and emptiness, or luminosity and emptiness. And so there's definitely kind of the luminosity aspect or the clarity aspect. It is an indivisibility. The essence itself is indivisibility of clarity and emptiness.
Tieni da tanda di shed benna cha xiao da nga so ti tongba ni sia ti da ngoni china somno yabo da na be za chen bu xiu des. Tieni du benna nga so jiken di kina la ka nyi ti de ya chama ji da problem yo re ro wa. Problem yo re. Yin na yang problem de da ji da hi ma china problem de ngone ro ji yo ro wa. Te yu with Jimsen tell us simne. Tening at Gange Bay, Messivike, Gange Mabuji, Tigores.
So, emptiness is very profound. And like if we think about, for instance, things that we take to be problems. So there is, on the one hand, like if we don't investigate, our problems are very real. So there is a problem, but it's a problem because we apprehend it as such. And when there is the apprehension or the fixation there to the problem, then there is difficulty, there's suffering.
Choati peche karsa da politician in hakumason chigres tene mora ina ya lawyers
The michik chirang la kabar tamsong. Okay.
tene tien tene pe masivi kita hansa juko private aeroplane tene yores pe masivi ke pe sha pe yores ina ya ta ko chi koran ke jemente tene 다 녀다지 치네 녀다 칸이나 다 거랑서지 송이나 칸이나 지 만도 람만도네 되게 뭐라 멤다지 않는 뭐라 세 송다 송 텔라 뭐라 벼로치라 송
So somebody contacted him a little while ago and said, relayed a story about, someone that they knew who was, there was a husband and wife. The husband was like a politician, an important politician, and the wife was a lawyer, and they were very rich, and they had like a private airplane. But then there was like something that happened that was really like difficult, and the wife actually shot herself. She killed herself.
that thing that tendike kunji tankin dik na this ko chung yung yo ta ko te naturally na yiro yin yang ta te ko jik re sambati ji tak pa yin ba tem ba yin ba ji jurwa mewa tendike samno ta ne ta tan ni chu ti chung yo wa yin nga so number sanji bi ko ngo te ji ta ji ni chu chung ba ni chu tong ba ni ra ma tho ba yin yang ji nga so no number killing chingati, something which I value your Karsena, con some lang to Lindesam not on your some sound yata, I was some Yabotana, Mata Machinguna, Yogare. In a Tashi, keeping all of some Nojitana, many ways what dealing the problems, not so Lendelism notaya, yore, metabolism notaya, yore. Tene Yabo, some notamina, Koran Pagila, Rangi Toby Homarda, Kotombarawa, or Tindism Notambecala, Kojirana Soji Goyaki, to Namia Legumarawa, or that in that is what Negape Chimboyas is.
So this is, really important to see, kind of what is really kind of practical in terms of, relating to the truth of emptiness in your own life. Because when we don't see that, like even some aspect of emptiness, when problems befall us, we really grasp onto them and think that they're like unchanging, they're permanent, they're really very real, because and even if we don't, like, even if there's not like a real understanding of emptiness there, even just some understanding, or even some aspects of emptiness like karma, cause and effect, impermanence, if we don't investigate, then when there are difficulties, they become very huge, very difficult to deal with, and we really take them to be real, and we take them to be permanent. But if we apply, the teachings, and we really look, at the situation from the perspective of the Dharma, there's so many ways that we can deal with our problems, whether we kind of see them together, from the perspective of our contemplation of karma, from if we recognize their impermanent nature, if we recognize that they don't actually have, intrinsic existence, or true existence from their own side, that their nature, that their nature is empty, they're fleeting, they're impermanent. When we can confront these difficulties with those tools, then there's no way, no matter how difficult something might be, there's no way that it would push us so far as to, like, say, take our own life.
Right. So, yeah, actually we are lucky, so if you don't know emptiness and don't know karma cause effect, and you don't know impermanence, and then really is the problem. So it is like mountain,
The problem becomes like a mountain.
Right. So just mountain falling to us.
Falling on top of us.
So that is, we see many people like, really is. So we have their tools, So just shrink down, just looks like
The mountain shrinks.
giant mountain. But slowly, many ways, so we can lick a bit impermanence, lick a bit karma cause, lick a bit emptiness, whatever, just, or prayer or meditation,
Prayer
no
or
specific, those
meditation.
things. But really is that this, maybe there is some, still, of course, but not like mountain, not falling us. So,
It's not like a mountain
yeah,
falling on
so
top
this,
of us.
there is, yes, something, there is sure, but one hand is this not big deal, so that's true. We see actually this world, So these mental problems,
Mental
much
problems.
harder
I'm
than,
trying to
so harder than like, the no food, they survive, Of course difficult maybe food, but they, okay, and no clothing, that's okay. Still okay, they survive, you can handle it, But this, I say, this the mental problems huge. So some people not can handle, so they're too big. So if you look reality, that person is, we look, maybe there are no problem, this like no problem means, looks everything's fine, like that I said, I think he's like maybe 40s or 30s, years old. So Why is that, what the problem, So also we see this business, so sometimes they said something business lose the millions, but still they are millions, then but they kill themselves. So we are lucky, 1 million, we lucky, right? Just enjoy. Right? So, but they only thinking they lose something, okay, so that's, but even though you are like, survive, maybe you completely gone, maybe zero money, but still can't.
Even if you lose
something,
all your money,
yeah.
you're
So
still
luckily, as
alive.
human beings, you before maybe your business, maybe you know money, like these rich people, they say these stories, they said like no money, like ordinary person, there is whatever, some reason, the business, whatever, they become rich, But then, if you really reality, so you maybe lose the like zero, but okay, yeah, I can Canada, I did before, so, but they don't. So, yeah, anyway, so this, sometimes with Dharma teaching, what this means, emptiness, 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 emptiness. What, Actually, myself too, what is so sometimes confusing too, what is so emptiness, empty. But one hand is how benefit, we understanding. So also the practice, when you get angry, so look at the closed eyes, okay? So before, yes, you get angry, and then, yeah, of course, there are reasons, so somebody's fall, So
Maybe it's you think it's somebody's fault, you're
I'm
angry.
right, So, sure, okay, that's fine. But then you're thinking just, one way is you're thinking, oh, I just keep going, how's I feeling, Maybe I don't want, just whatever, my fault, their fault, or I right, they are right. Doesn't matter, just you, or close eyes, maybe stop your thoughts, right? In one moment, and maybe it goes away. Or thinking about in the whatever the past situation, shouldn't thinking, past situation. So I look at your own mind. You're thinking, okay, you was angry, right? So really, is the how do you analyze where my anger, So first, yes, anger, you are just uncomfortable, you just completely change your face, your physical, mentally, yeah, right, so it looks like powerful. So feeling is not well. So then you're thinking about, must be something, there. So just look at your mind and keep going, keep going. Really is that you cannot find the anger, right? I don't think so. If you do, whatever, not only anger, whatever individual issues. Right, so if you find something issues, I can give you $1 million, You can show me that's my problem exactly, Reason that's wise. I don't think so. You cannot. No one can show this the real, Yeah, excuse, I said it. Superficial way, like not really true, Ordinarily, I said, oh, that's why he said that, I angry, or he said that, I
We have our stories.
Right, but you cannot show it ultimately, no. No way. So that is emptiness, But otherwise, not emptiness, yes, something else. There's something, yes, no emptiness, something permanent. So everybody believe permanent, But if we look at the investigating. So that is everything's emptiness. So I said, like, okay, there are 60
16.
emptiness, but actually this is much more than this. Actually, they have emptiness, like we call the Panja Paramita, the Yom Chemo. So this total so the fifth, what is this? The 60 volumes. Yes. So basically emptiness, okay?
All
so
discussing
this bomb,
emptiness.
right? Bomb. So 100,000 verses. So this longest one. And the middle lane have the knit. So
21,000.
3 volumes and 20,000 verses. And the shorter one is the 1
8,000.
volume and so this
8,000.
8,000 verses. So this kind of interesting. We read, family, they say like, almost like memories kind of like repeat again, one word, right? Your eye is tombani, right?
Like emptiness, emptiness, great
And
emptiness.
then later on, oh, your air is tombani.
Ear emptiness.
Almost
Emptiness,
like memorize. Like kind of like repeat, one word you can change air or nose or something. Your body change, but then same.
The same
Share up
refrain.
the
The
part,
refrain is the same.
So that's true. Actually, we have many dombanis, okay, many emptiness, okay.
Hevajra looks like a big shrug.
All right. Okay, so you have questions, the emptiness? Or you may be sure it's not emptiness.
Actually, so the Prajna Paramita, is that all Nagarjuna? Or?
No, this, the Buddha's, I think, Sangha training.
Turning.
Right, it's the Virtual Peak Mountain. So
At
first
Virtual
training
Peak
is
Mountain.
like what is for, or what is the horn of the truth and so on, that's details like. And the second he teaching the Virtual Peak Mountain, so that is all the Buddha's
Prajna Paramita.
Paramitas teachings. But also your question is this related. So the text, I think there's 12 volumes text in the Nepal government. So these texts, so sort of like this, the longest 100,000 verses, I think, 12 volumes. The story, so story is the Nagarjuna talk to the Nagaram. So the text, that text, particular text, right, volumes comes from in the Nagaram,
The Naga realm.
right?
So
but
the
sometimes
Naga-
they are specific, occasional, or maybe we can, I think they are paid them, like maybe you know, right? The Nepali government, they can, we can see, these volumes. So that's
You can
text.
pay a fee and see the volumes.
Right. So that's related for Nagarjuna.
Because even though the Buddha turned the...
Right, yes.
It was in the Naga realm, or it was...
No, Buddha talked the Virtual Peak Mountain.
Ultra Mountain.
Right.
But Ananda didn't scribe it all down, or after the fact?
Right, Nagarjuna. So Nagarjuna, he teach in the Nagaram. So that story.
Okay.
Or some of the stories I don't Nagaram, or these texts come from the Nagaram.
Okay.
Or study in the Nepal government. So then we next, okay.
When did His Holiness Chetsang Rinpoche start to teach this Hevajra material? Like how long has he been doing this?
So he's just teaching that this we Simchung Kaung.
No, for how long has he been like working on this?
Right. So this actually, I think he teaching a long time, but actually the specific teaching 2000.
The year 2000.
Year 2000. So year 2000, I think big teaching, I think probably 3 months or something like that. So that time is the special occasional. So we,
And a special occasion.
right, so we have 3 year retreat finish. So normally the Degungaji tradition is big teachings, the 3 big teachings within the 2 years, right? So reason is, so each 4 years, so the 3 year retreat finish, and then the big teaching, and the new go to 3 year retreat.
So to mark
And
the
then-
end of each 3-year retreat.
Right, then the next second, and then, so sort of like that time is kind of he holiness teach. We kind of like, I think holiness, he lot of retreatants, but I think biggest 3-year retreat is my bro. So that time finish, the end of,
Snake year?
yes, not yet, I think 1999. And then he started 2000, the big teaching. So that time is, I have tracked, so this, actually he teaching the long, I think, Gomchung Nyima, this big volume, and also he composed like collections much thicker than this, another book he teaches. So this is, this sadhana is specific for the sadhana, so how to manage the practice. But another one I have spoke, that is more kind of juke, the what juke?
Tantra.
Ko juke, kind of imba, that he could jedur jikta, juke, la kind of what better commentary, no, is
So it's like a commentary on like the Hevajra tantras, the root tantra, etc.
So yes.
There have been a few questions online, Drupala, regarding getting the loan for the Hevajra sadhana at some point during this retreat.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yes, I will.
So is this a good time for more questions?
Yeah, you have a few questions, so then we not forget, but otherwise, that's okay.
If you have more teachings, by all means.
Right, yes. So you have their questions, that's okay?
Are there questions?
Just, I mean, this is nitpicking detail, but,
John,
okay,
please.
okay, sorry. I just want to be clear about the actual recording of the original.
No one online can hear it.
Okay, right. So question, logistics about the writing of the original Buddha teachings. Ananda, after the death of the Buddha,
Actually, they were written down like 500 years later, the
500.
actual teachings of the Buddha. Yeah.
okay,
But Ananda remembered them all, remember?
remembered them all and passed them down, I guess, to other generations, or lived 500 years, or,
I think there's some different questions.
yeah.
Actually, these 3 terms. We call Kadu Tangbo, Kadu Nipa, Kadu Sumpa.
So there were different like periods where the teachings of the Buddha were recorded, like the in sort of three different times, 3 different periods, like the first time, the second time, and the third time, or yeah. So it is actually said that Ananda was there during the first recording of the teachings.
So Also, that term is, I'm not sure exactly who there's actually specific who did, who organized, who sponsored. But I think first we got is the Gungo,
Yeah, Ananda.
Ananda. So Ananda is like disabled, the man disabled during the Buddha time. He's also, I think he's
The
like,
attendant,
I think a cousin, right? Something
And
relatives.
cousin.
And also, I think Buddha passed or maybe before. So because they become not arhat, and then they become forget, you know. So Ananda, this future important person, so then he kicked out the monastery. So interesting, this kind of like enlightenment or what achieve the high standard or whatever. So like everything's fine, you know, everything's okay, but you're not achieve. So this cannot purifying the completely or karma. You see, this is we all are like enlightenment beings. Even the Lord Jigten Songkong, he got the leprosy, you know. So we think, oh, he's just perfect. He just enjoy all the time. Then he just enlightened. Not. So Malarepa, how difficult it is. So same way. So one hand is the Ananda is the most highest disabled, you know, among the Buddhas. And two things, he's the man attendant, and other things, his relatives. So maybe he lick up a prayer, I don't know, but then they kick out the monastery. So that after that he immediately became arhat. So they invite him back, and then he first the Tongo.
The first council.
So that time is not forget all arhat. So I think we have this one is actually interesting too. Next, the number 3. So
Also, the eight kinds of, or the 8 perfect liberations, or the 8 perfect freedoms.
right.
These are the faces,
Right, so yeah, so yeah, then this kind of completely that become arhat, so then they not forget the luck.
So this is
The
one of this
philosophy, you know.
in one of these perfect freedoms. Then, at the level of arhatship, you have the power of unfailing memory. Rebe.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll just look into it later.
I'll ask Virginia.
Or,
Yeah, that's okay. You
What-
ask what?
No,
I don't know, but we can. But I think we just
Just the Protestant paramita.
Kung tena loju ko gogiore la giore tena de ilang loju de gande yemba yapo ko gumendo gande de gainsena tena de yum chemo de sante rang ne jungwa yena tene kung gabo ti yore be ting man dampo de tene yang de
Go marwa kala.
yeah
Nagati no la maya marwe.
yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't, they were not recorded by Ananda. They were kept by the Nagas in the Naga realm and later written down by Nagarjuna.
And that was the only source. Was that the only
Right,
source?
yes, you have a good question. So
Okay.
that I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I think this is the Buddha.
Yeah.
So, so the Nagarjuna talk, yes, of course, the Buddhas, you know, these, after this we call the Jain in Europe, what is
So the 6 ornaments and the 2 supreme ones.
So the teachings. The
This
kind of
is referring to the
repeated,
Indian
explanation of Buddha's
Panditas.
teachings. So like Nagarjuna is most
One of the
famous.
supreme
so
ones.
then kind of he repeatedly in the Buddha's teachings. And yeah, so And also this, I think that's a good question too. Actually, this the Panja Paramitas maybe the both, we can say Kanjor or Tenjor. So maybe like Buddha's teachings and as well as the commentaries.
Like a
So both, so yeah. I guess, I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
That issue la number three G's. What tell this confusing too.
So we have the 8 perfect freedoms.
Okay, you have more questions? Okay. That thing is that tela katsena cha juduk te kat songuyores labdu tene tongbani juduk songures tela toni juduk ke cha juduk dans tene tokpa chebar je number tarwa ji la heji songures that quality ro.
So then the 16 arms represent the 16 kinds of emptiness, and then the 8 faces are said to represent the 8 perfect freedoms.
Tieni ta karsena number tarwa ji tela tene sukchen sola dawe namtar thang sumi sola dawe namtar thang dubi namtar thang namka chenchi ke namtar thang namhi chenchi ke namtar thang chiang mi chenchi namtar thang dushi mimi ji chenchi thang gobe ke number tarwa was.
So there's the perfect freedom of form observing form, the perfect freedom of the formless observing form, the perfect freedom of observing the beauty or attractiveness, the perfect freedom of infinite space, the perfect freedom of infinite consciousness, the perfect freedom of nothing whatsoever, the perfect freedom of neither presence nor absence of perception, and the perfect freedom of cessation.
That tell number thawa the special no chagiyo sari special te kharis lavina tene ta kharse gorechi ngushe thang tene drobe ke ta no ji la la guyo sares.
So these perfect freedoms are kind of special in that they represent certain developments, like certain attainments, stages of attainment, or like siddhi or clairvoyance, kind of.
Pena cha cha ina nga da hine yorwa interesting this yore tene hine tela kariyolamna thambo nga zo hine gomne ta hine denchen demi ne chine ta lungyan lungmi chine ya ando tene chaja chembo thugro yang chaja chembo ya kawala yang ko yang cho ma ti is ta trusting do ji tene nga zo simchu ji di yang ngone di sem khawa yore saya no da ta tene 다 되게 칸도 되어데 카리데 스미 렌지기와 다 가시 요래 더서 칸디스리 양 마양조직 랍그와 랍구요레스 Same time here kaharewe that I'm not sure exactly, I don't remember, but the simi 렌지기와 오다 드니치네 다 고지 kind of testing doji yang cho ji yang lebu yor ba ta ma da hini be sem tem ba tho cha ko cha chang ga le cha na yang ta yin ji minimal law ne yang ji sem ka wa do sem de sem khane je ba re sem yor ma re lu la kha wa ne yor re ta thini sim ju se ya ji lebu yor ba.
So, for instance, when we practice Shine or calm abiding, and there are the different stages of development, like with characteristics, without characteristics, and within with as support and without support, with using the breath and without using the breath. And so then when you really like go through all these stages of developing shamatha, and before you start to meditate on Mahamudra, there is, the special insight or vipassana in which you like investigate the mind. You try to locate. You come back to kind of utilizing your concepts in a way that is, where you're really looking to see if you can locate some entity of mind. Where is the mind? How does it abide? Is it, and what is the relationship between mind and mind's nature? Is there like kind of in the, is there a difference between what the essence of mind and consciousness? And so there's kind of this process of, he called it testing in English, but it's like investigation. But in order for that investigation to really work, we have to have first really developed stability in calm abiding. And then so once that stability in shamatha is established, then we use the concepts of the mind again to investigate, to try to like test or to see, what really can we, we ask these questions in trying to examine or investigate the mind. Is there a mind? Is there not a mind? If there is a mind, where in the body does it abide, and so forth.
다 텐더고 인사레스 티니티니 다 단다디 다 오네치나 고 something 베다 당보니 something 히바화 라구도와 티니다 가도 순감 니리 주두 something 히키나운줄라 제야도와 티니야 토비오레 수무도 티니
So tampo tena something tampo neji papardene kare.
오다 테 람난티기리 티니 제다 something 라 카르스나 지금 순감라 되니 제가 토비알라 티 순감 니리 주든도와 한번 주든도 위해서와 아니다 something hil라면 되거든 something 톱 받는 괜찮은 뭐지 이게 되네 되니 something 톱을 송도 something 톱네 되니 다 양자를 거라다 돼 special
Yangchar kare.
네 단단히 숙제 서울다 위당 숙미 서울나 나와서야 되다 양자 양
Tene de legiore.
오케이 공부하리서
De something jiparo.
something 히게라
Or dampo neji paparla legiore ve
after
yanga
that
something.
so
Okay.
after the four
So then there's so as a result of these deep states of concentration that are developed in calm abiding meditation, then one enters into the 4 stages of meditative concentration. So there's the first through the fourth, which also correspond with, for instance, the 17 realms of the form realms. And so so he actually asked Khinchen Rinpoche about this, and he said that these perfect freedoms, Khinchen Nyima Gyaltsen, and that these perfect freedoms are what are gained like at the kind of end of that level of the 4th level of meditative concentration. So after that, like for
다 대인도 텔레카스는 장저 선바다 담길다 주베케 다통야기 치토라 대가 나기 년도랑자 코랑게 양 상디에는 고지 저바 토바 디기 치토다 믹스인도 오지 넘버 타바트 믹스인도 차기오레스 넘버 타바지.
And so then as like there's, progression through like the stages of the formless absorptions, and then like beyond to like the stage of the awakening of, say, arhats and pratyeka Buddhas, then these are like different stages of accomplishment that manifest. What?
주베기 땅으로 통고요로 니파 동양기 치던도 자기요래 라고도 년도랑장도 있나 고랑솔다 랑랑 상지에 송선반도 다 동양기 치던.
Okay, so Yabokoma song. So then that the guys in
지고 남바 들어와서 스페셜 인사로 스페셜.
Yeah, they 하고 song.
뒤인데 가르치 드리려나? 근데 지 주베기 땅 좋다 동양기 치더레스 상지 당장저 선바 semjen himbe chube ta tongna tene semjen himba tongchi to kurwa 대당 대가 나 양년도 당 anja 코랑이나 코랑서 땅아 두바 톱송 선배 따지 요르와
So ta de chikpare ve de nyento dangrang sanje dang sanje dang jang jup semba.
yeah
Yini ang kakado chakyo ve.
no
Okay, so nikala.
니가라
Okay, so so these are actually like also they're signs that manifest like to like display for like essentially enlightened activity for the benefit of beings. So like both for those like on the path of bodhisattvas, for the Buddhas and bodhisattvas, and also for Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, they're signs of accomplishment that are demonstrated to others. Rebe.
데니다 당보들라 가르송다 숙현 서울에 다베 남타르사
So the first one, which is the perfect freedom of form observing form.
데니다 된다 디 숙현 서울에 다베 남타르데 가르스나 랑케 서울데 거의 데미 요완로 체로와 랑케 루트 고 가리나 팀바체 데니 치기 유라 데네 다 가리나 지 현이나레 강바이나레 간디나 다 텔레스틱 셈토 바라와 베네 행도 오지 고나 행들 셈다 네바 직 셈카와 드로나 드라야 요바베 땅 가장 니마지라 땅도 샤도 지리지 셈카와 쟁나테니 샤야 요바라와 셈들 네데와지 다 유칸디나 제바면도 행이나레 메토이나레 다 지 강바이나레 되네 지 남기 띠나레 되네 지 가리이나 텔레코나베 셈텔레 네데와라오지
So the first one is kind of similar, he said, to what he mentioned yesterday. So like when, for instance, the mind is sent to something, if the mind is sent out to something, that it can stay there with the thing that is sent out to, intentionally sent out to. So like outer objects, for instance, whether it's like trees or houses or, flowers or clouds in the sky. So form is essentially where, any manifestation of form, when the mind is set upon a particular object, it remains there.
데 셈텔라 마땅도 샤도
So wherever it is sent, when it is like whatever it is sent to, it can stay there with the thing that it is sent to.
다 디인도텔라 숙현 서울라 다베 남타르스 라부여사리 다 수미 서울라 다베 남타르지 다 가랑케 루인들라 되네 그 다힌지 요나 되네 지 가랑케 데 ngopo 마도바 덴바 마도라 다 수보기 차히에 노지 간데 이나양 딘디제 케나라 되네 다 당긴가 저 동반이라고도 하고 되네라고 되네 베 랑기 마도와 어다 딘디지 또 받을라 태도 대다 냠도 되네 지 치기 유대야야 랑기 마도와 딘디지 되네 또 보고 있어야지
And so then the second one, which is
다
perfect
검색으로
freedom of the formless observing form. So the example that's given here is that, so like in the investigation of form such as one's body, then there is the perception or the ability to understand or see that there is no actual entity there, that it doesn't really exist, that it is the nature of emptiness. And so it is actually with any object that is, of form, that actually all form lacks intrinsic existence, that it doesn't actually have any substantial nature.
다 디니 보기 양 테스팅도 있었다 숙현 서울에 다베 남다당 수미 서울에 다베 남다때 다 야보 곰톱 담는도 게 다야케 테스팅데 도비 남다를 세야트레스
So then, they garilge namtar dugle, okay.
이 동화로 도바스나 베 항상 닝제보
So then nika de sumbare.
그래서 말고
So then the kind of
Third one.
investigation, or kind of through this testing, he said, that occurs through both of these first two, then that kind of becomes the third, which is the perfect freedom of observing beauty.
다 도베키 남타르 중에 다 가양 곰그도 빼나 빼. 다지 가르 곰 빼나다 이도 용하지. 빼나. 다 가리나 양면은 지 다 유이도 용하라고 오지. 다 가리나 곰색으로 와 빼나 인디비주얼 퍼슨으로 요래 되네. telebe 지 가린 도바 가리 요나 되네. 지 도바 체효텔라 되네. 곰네. 대금도 다 도바 원에 지 용그로 다 테마이 양지 작배 경고로 상노당비나 양지 부이나 부모이나 벌어서 다 간데이나 되네. 다 간다지 곰네 되네. 타망와 다 원에 대 악출 거라베. 되게 이제 곰투 그러와. 곰투 그래서 하고
간데 곰투 그래.
다 야보 다 고스 곰베 야 행겨와. 다 유이 동어지 곰고여와 간데스 곰고여나 그러와. 이나 다 콘솔트라 페메시비 고 곰베 야토고여와 비주얼라이제이션. 되네 유이 간데지 곰나 되네 곰토고여레스다. 곰토 그러와. So that meditation 와. 이 두용와스 갖고도 해.
Yeah, attractive. Beautiful.
다 이도 용어지 곰그러와. 조랑란 너바 가리와. 니네지나는가 가리고도. 와리고 그러와. 그러나 이다 용식으로 빼네. 작배서 못당나 보모 가리나 든지 보면 요식으로와. 오다 이 동화들이 이제 곰be qabla. 근데 곰토 그래서 오늘 간이지 곰나베. 탁탁고 뭐니 수로지. 그러와. 빼네 조랑도 봐 못한다고 지.
가리 치네 된다 곰 그래. 곰 그만와 된다 차베유라 가리 까파 곰 그래.
오다 저때 조랑데 some 힘이 나는데 이거 봐.
오케이, 나야 보고 그만도 NGK 라.
티인도 다 텔레카스나 테스팅 리라고 와. 당보대 퍼펙트리 곰투고요레스다. 곰투고로와. 대 곰잡이 휴글라 다 유틀라. 다 베나 초나 차페이키 유트 야포 딱다 이 곰잡이 휴글라. 되네 유틀라 차바지기 누게 면도게 돼 딱요레스.
야, 근데 나나 되네 거그러와.
되네 차페이키 유제기 요나 다 양초 다 저런 되게 뭐 테스팅 페일로와. 차바지기 요나. 되네 양초 수치엔 소르다베 남다 수미 소르다베 남다데 양 곰그레스.
So then, in observing like objects of beauty, or kind of things, objects of attachment, or that are perceived as attractive. So, for instance, like this becomes also then, I guess, a form of testing or investigation, because the level of concentration is also so deep or so developed that the mind can perfectly stay on an attractive object, whether that's like an object of desire, like for, or what have you. But then in that experience, then one investigates, does attachment arise? Does it not arise? And then if attachment arises, one goes back to, I guess, either of these first two.
So the killer, right? Yes. So yes. So this the mentor is powerful. So this the meditators, because they're complete finished. What is something here?
They've gone through the 4 stages of meditative concentration.
Right. So they can do like basically imagination, whatever this he can meditate. So whatever individually whatever attachment, object you can. We said ordinarily, we can visualization, we can also very difficult to Buddha, right? Okay, Buddha maybe look down, maybe. But meditators not like that. Whatever you can do, like perfectly, you really, real. So whatever you meditate, completely like real, right? Exactly what you want. So then, second, that one sort of your attachment object, your visualization perfectly, and then you're investigating yourself, you really attached to or not. And no matter you beautiful, whatever you want, you can visualize, but you know attachment, then you're okay. So you passed. So that's it. So just you can visualize like that, but you no attachment. So that's okay. But then if you perfectly attachment object perfectly, but then you look a bit arise in attachment, and then you back for what is that first two, right? First two, whatever you meditation again, and again. So then sort of like so sort of backward. So anyway, so that thing do ko thanda tela.
Chuchu nga ba lips are dua. Chuchu nga ba lips are dua.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah. So that dog be namtarawa. That dog be namtatila. Then pass chana. Then that jigwaring a masumi jinchi mission over. Then namgantaye zidita, namganayi, namgalapeda, tangantantewa, one shivake and on it. Dorjinam kichi dawes, chik namgasayak, behane. Then chik namgal utan tamiba, namgantaye, kitene. Omjaya namkintaye, jingamewa.
So then with the 8 perfect freedoms, so then it goes through like the 4 formless absorptions, a perfect freedom of infinite space, the perfect freedom of infinite consciousness, the perfect freedom of nothing whatsoever, the perfect freedom of neither perception nor non-perception. And so he then just now related the freedom of infinite space as, also being related to the 4th empowerment, where they say, that the mind is like the Vajra center of space, being that there is actually no center of space. There's just like infinite space.
That last one, go up in Thursday. Tan go up in Namtatella, the magic Truva, Dan Duhi and Duji Karina Tinijek, want to Mondova. Chana, then go be Namtachadi, or is not.
And so then there is the perfect, the ultimate one, or the final freedom is the perfect freedom of cessation. So that is the perfect freedom of cessation, which is beyond concept and sensation, where there's just like actual liberation or cessation.
Okay. So I think that's good. So we stop here. So short dedication.
So we can do then the short dedication on page 20, the bottom of page 24 of the prayer book. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Dregungpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's that? Yeah, so there's this evening we'll have Achi practice at 7 p.m. So if you're able to join us, please do. And tomorrow morning, then we'll be doing the middle length Hevajra practice, which people should have the link for. So we do actually have some copies that are printed out. So if you come here in person, there will be a copy for you to borrow. But otherwise, like if you're at home or if you want to print out your own copy, people should have the link for that. It was sent out to everyone who registered.
So how many you pay?
At what time did it say? 10, at 10 a.m.
Thank you.